Welcome back to Derry Public Radio. Reporting from the basement of the Derry Civic Center, this is CM Alexander with the news. Castle County Animal Control is asking anyone near the lake houses to keep a sharp eye out for a starving stray dog named Prince. He's gaunt, wary of strangers, and was abandoned by a Massachusetts lawyer who reportedly didn't want to pay the dog tax. His now ex-wife and daughter have been seen near Lake Kashwakamok searching. If you spot him, don't chase. Talk softly, offer water, back away. And yes, we're told he won't bite. Unless, that is, he can tell your lawyer. You're listening to Derry Public Radio. This is Derry Public Radio. Welcome back to Derry Public Radio, a bi-weekly Stephen King Book Club podcast. I'm one of your hosts, CM Alexander, alongside Joshua Kahn.
Hey, everybody.
And Yvgato.
Hi, constant readers.
And today we are covering another Patreon selection by Christine Ward, and it is Gerald's Game. And we will be reading up to Chapter 19. Josh is going to take us through, so there's going to be tons of spoilers ahead.
Yes, this is going to be a conversation we're going to have.
Wowie zowie.
This is a tough read. So before we even get into it, we've talked before that if with King it gets dark, real trigger warning for sexual matters. And I also want to point out, because we don't want to be inconsiderate talking about these things, but we do look for levity where we can find it when we are doing this show. So I just want to put that out there, because I hope I never want to make a joke to break us out of tension that accidentally upsets somebody. And if I do, I want to be able to apologize knowing the intention is, is well.
For me, I tend to laugh when I am uncomfortable. So that is ha ha ha. What a good book. Ha ha.
Okay, so speaking of, trigger warnings and sensitive material, I just have just a second.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same where you're going.
I'm going to handcuff myself to the table. Because, I don't want, I respect your guys' autonomy. So I'm just doing it to myself. And
this is such a weird vibe.
I will not be giving either of you a safe word for me to use if I need out of these, just to be clear.
Jesus Christ.
All right, I'm secure.
That's why you're dressed as a pirate.
No, that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I got it.
I did have, oh my God, I'm sorry, I have to just get this out of the way. I almost messaged you guys that I wanted to enter my pirate phase because I couldn't stop saying in my own head, "Me proud beauties." I was watching chipmunks eat in my head. And I was like, "Oh, me proud beauties."
I love that.
You called us that in the chat.
I did once, yeah. Okay, listeners,
I appreciate that you were just testing it out.
This is a preview of what this episode is going to be like.
Oh, get the laughs out up front.
Oh, my goodness. All right. I want to go straight into this because I was really impressed that we opened this book immediately with banging. A door. There's a door banging.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That's the very first line is about the door banging against the door jamb.
That's some real literary shit.
I was really proud of that.
The theme runs deep from the first line.
I picked up on some themes. That wasn't one of them.
Actually, this is up where I want to pause because I'm leading and I can do what I want. And I want to ask both your relationships to this book, because this is my first read, but I saw the Flanagan adaptation when it first came out. Have not seen it since, so it is foggy with memory, but I know enough spoilers to get me in trouble.
I regret telling this story previously on the podcast because rereading this now, it's not as funny as I thought it was.
Oh, no.
This is the book. Okay, this came out in 1992.
Okay.
And I did not read it right when it came out, but I was definitely early high school, I think. And this was the book where my stepsister at the time was like, hey, you read so much. I don't. I want to get into reading. Maybe we can like read with you. It was my first book club.
That's right.
I remember you telling us this.
Yeah, so she's like, maybe we can read together. And I'm like, yeah, why don't we, I just picked up a book and we'll, read this and I can start us off.
Lord.
The book was Gerald's Game.
Oh,
so I read that to a couple years younger than me, very much a child.
Oh, no.
Younger stepsister.
Good Lord. That's wild.
And I've seen the adaptation, which rules.
I mean, it's Flanagan. I need a second to get over CM's story because I remember you telling that story.
Wasn't that a cute story?
And it's a lot funnier of a story if you're not in the middle of the book and you know what it's like.
Yeah.
A child shouldn't.
This speaks to true trauma in blocking out things because I was able to read this book as a child having similar experiences that Jesse has. And I was just like,
no. Christ. So this was another Christine for me, where I have tried to read it and I got maybe 30 pages in and went, what is this? I don't know. I don't understand how this is a whole book. Sure. I get to the point where she's handcuffed and I'm like, this is going to be boring soon and put it down for some reason.
Oh, that's the challenge. Not to make it boring because it's one location.
Yeah, absolutely. And when was that? The last time you tried to read it?
The last time I tried to read it must have been before the podcast because I haven't started a King book.
Sure.
Outside of the podcast sense. But I want to say I was in my mid-20s, maybe.
Gotcha.
An adult?
Yeah, I was an adult.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of those books that's up there with Pet Sematary, that the reading before and after being a parent, I imagine, is also a whole thing.
Yep.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. It's this. There's so much. I've been talking about. God, we're not going to get to this book for just another minute. I'm so sorry, everybody. Did either of you see the show Adolescence on Netflix?
No.
It's a limited series. It's 4 episodes. Each episode's like an hour, I think, and they are a one shot.
Okay.
So where you start and end with the place and time you're in with these people, and it's essentially about somebody I believe he's like 12 years old, a 12-year-old murdering another 12-year-old.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's very there's a lot of bad stuff in it, but it doesn't let you escape because each episode you're in the shit. You're in every tense moment, every awkward silence, every bit of it. You're feeling all the intensity at the same time. And that's the energy that I also got from The Long Walk that we just saw, which is why I was drawn to see it again. This is that, like in literature, it doesn't let you escape into any form of safety so that you are just as trapped. And that's what this whole book feels like is a trap.
Yeah.
It is weirdly effective at being claustrophobic.
It's very uncomfortable.
It is, you feel how stuck she is. Even when we are in her flashbacks, her dreams or memories, they all feel very much like you are chained to a bed.
Yeah.
There's so much foreshadowing before we get the full story of her flashbacks too, that every time we go back there, I was like, this just feels bad.
It does. Yes.
It
this
has a very
book
satisfying
feels
build.
bad.
Yeah.
This is a bummer. How does this not have Richard Bachman on the cover? Honestly.
Yeah.
Right. It does have a lot of Bachman energy.
If I had a separate Bachman shelf, I would put this one on with all the others.
So let's get back into the story. We are at the summer house of Gerald and Jesse
Burlingame.
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 Yep.
I couldn't pronounce that for the life of me. It's their summer house on this lake. They are on Kashwakamak on a...
I have no idea if that's right. I just wanted to make a educated guess. It's fun to say.
But it's on a Wednesday in October, not the summer lake season normally. So people are not there. It's midweek, and they are loading in for a little afternoon delight.
It's a kinky weekend. Well, not weekend.
kinky midday.
Kinky hump day.
Jesse can hear that they didn't close the door, which is opening with this. The reason I had to jump to a million tangents is because I have seen the movie, so I know what that door not being shut means right away.
Even without knowing, because I think I went into the book knowing the basic premise. Yeah. Definitely this time. I know that it is a bottle episode book. Mm-hmm. And so the starting with this door that is on the hinges, knowing what is going to be happening soon, I immediately put myself in that place and went, that alone, if nothing else in the book happens, and I am just chained to a bed with a door banging that I can't do anything about, exact same book. I go insane immediately. I lose my mind. It would drive me crazy.
Yeah. We open with Gerald handcuffing Jesse to the bed, the mahogany headboard of their fancy bed. Would either of you like to describe Gerald, a character who will be dead by the end of this first chapter?
Should we describe him through Jesse's eyes?
Yes.
Or, I mean, that's all we're getting. He's a sloppy fuck. No, he is this. Okay, I thought until she mentions her age, which I think is like 37. They're like mid to late 30s. The way King wrote them to me, I thought they were in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, it was very disorienting because I'm older than both of them, and I feel like they're way older than me. And the way that this kinky weekend is being described by Jesse, it almost seems like it's something that is being tried in sort of a humdrum routine sort of marriage. But Gerald is an attorney, quite successful. He's not described as being very attractive to Jesse.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say like it's subjective, but she's really points out a lot of his flaws.
Yeah, he's let himself go a bit since when they first got together.
But he's otherwise described as being a pretty, good partner for her. Like they seem to get along well. We'll get a lot of foreshadowing of problems, but for now it seems like they have a nice routine together.
They function together.
They're companions.
They're a couple that is together. And one of the things that I find so interesting about Jesse as a character is later Goody in her head will talk about how effective she is at lying to herself. And it's very much unreliable narrator, but you don't realize that about Jesse right away because there is a lot of the way the story builds of moments that Jesse is upset by that later you see the step back and the context is there. Yeah.
It makes her seem less, because I spent the first, couple chapters thinking she hates her husband.
And yes, that she hates her husband. My first two thoughts are this woman hates her husband and this woman hates sex. She has reason. The one thing I want to say about Jesse and Gerald is how conservative they are. I think that is a huge part of their characters.
It was in the 90s too, so appropriate sort of
picture. They are well off. He makes enough money to have a lake house.
And a sweet car if he wasn't too fat and ugly for it. According to Jesse.
And enough money that she can't work or the feds will think something's up.
It is briefly mentioned that they met at a Republican fundraiser or something for George
There are
Bush.
people I cannot relate to.
Exactly. That was my problem for the
yeah.
beginning of this book is like, for the beginning of this book, my first thought is like, I can't relate to these people.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship to each other is so that like waspy straight couple who
Yeah.
obviously are only together because like socially
It's convenient. It
yeah.
looks good.
exactly. And just all of their attitudes towards each other and the way they interact, I'm like, I don't understand these people. I can't relate to them. And it isn't until we learn about Jesse's ability to repress her thoughts and feelings that I was like, oh, I can relate to this lady so much.
That is the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to get on a soapbox about King books, which is why we have this podcast, which is why we tell people just give it a try, because King is willing, and this was in the 90s, so he'd had several, bestsellers under his belt by now, but he's willing to not worry about whether readers can connect to the characters for the payoff. Like, if you can push yourself through that and get there, you're going to find something in King work that speaks to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love it. Oh, we should also mention Gerald. All of this kinky getaway stuff is Gerald's idea. They've been progressing slowly to the level that they're at right now.
Yeah.
But and Jesse's on board because even though she can't stand him, it made him, she's got complicated feelings. It's okay. It made him look at her in a way that she felt like he hadn't in a long time. And she had mind-blowing orgasms. So seems like maybe it was a positive thing. And
yeah, it sounds like it started off well and good. They've been married for 20 years. And I said this is an October day. This tying up thing started back in March. So this is a fairly new
tying up thing. That's what the BDSM clubs call it.
They progressed from scarves to ropes to they worked their way experimenting with how they wanted to do their bondage. Sorry, I didn't work in a sex shop.
Yeah, no, it is so, and this is one of the things that I was like, I don't understand these people. I had to keep reminding myself, A, it was written in the 90s, and B, these are conservative people, because I'm like, these people's view of the most tame BDSM in the world is so like, she has reasons.
Sure.
She, as it turns out, has very good reasons to have these feelings. But like at the beginning of the book, when you don't know that, I was just like, she is talking about how this BDSM is like freaky. And I'm like,
our neighbors would be so upset.
Yeah.
it's taboo. Okay, for younger listeners in the 90s, this was we weren't as, open about sexuality and embracing that.
You wouldn't joke about
very
something like
taboo.
this.
Yeah, you'd be horrified if somebody knew that you're into kinky stuff. So, and kinky stuff could be very, very tame stuff.
Yeah.
Have I told my handcuff story?
I don't know if you should tell a story starting with these words.
CM, you started this podcast by chaining yourself to the desk.
What?
Although,
yeah,
you can rescind consent at any time. So that
I
think you can keep it to yourself. Oh, well then in that case, go on with your story, Josh.
So this is when I was like a little kid at South Park Mall at KB Toys. Shopping with my mom.
This is really not the direction I thought this story was going to go.
Exactly. I'm telling you. I promise it's a safe story. But this is to the regards of taboo and like saying things in public. I'd gotten a police officer set that had like a little baton, the little handcuffs, like all the little plastic stuff for like an 8-year-old.
Sure.
And we had bought that, gone to another store in the mall, and it was me and my mom and my mom's best friend. And I set the bag down. I'd left it in the store, and we were a few stores away before I'd realized I'd left my toy somewhere. So we backtracked to all the stores, and we go to this like guy behind the counter, and my mom tells him like, "Did anybody turn in a bag from KB Toys? My son left it." And he goes, "There wouldn't happen to be a pair of handcuffs in there." And then realized the way he'd said it and turned a shade of red I'd never seen a human. And I don't understand what the fuck this reaction is because I'm a child and like my mom and her friend are like trying to like not lose their shit.
I love that.
But it was like just something that simple, and that's like what, like 92 we're talking about. Like, so to what you were saying, Eve, Jesse is reluctant from the moment the second cuff clicks on, that reluctance starts to come up. And she starts to reflect on it making her feel demeaned and stupid. What did either of you interpret from just that feeling? Because for me, I'm not a woman, so I felt that was a reaction to the vulnerability. Also, she's just in panties, completely stark naked. So the vulnerability was what I got from that, but I didn't know if either of you had a take.
Are you asking our opinions on BDSM? I plead the fifth.
No, the her feeling of this making her feeling demeaned and stupid.
Yeah, I did say earlier I can't relate to this woman. This was part of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
If you are in a situation, doesn't have to be sexual, it can be any circumstance where you are potentially vulnerable and you don't feel safe and secure with the person who is in charge of that. And if you don't feel good about it, I can imagine if that were a sexual situation, I wouldn't feel sexy.
Oh, yeah.
And,
1,000%.
and then
yeah.
if you don't feel good about yourself in this experience, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely, which is what I was screaming at the book, because I was like, what are you two obviously shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a safe word, insane. They are very obviously.
They do not know what they're
they don't know what they're
into,
doing. And like it kink with like bondages that can actually, I don't know, cause harm.
Right.
Like you need to be prepared and you need everyone to be on exactly the same page. And that is not what's happening.
No.
It's very frustrating. And
it will get into Gerald's intentions a little bit later,
Yeah.
but
Can't
we'll
wait
kind
to
of
talk
put
about
a
that.
pin
Yeah.
in there. So he finishes cuffing her. He leaves the keys on top of a dresser across the room. And I want to talk about the description of Gerald smiling versus when he grins, because she mentions that the grin is stupid and dumb. The smile is charming. Reminds her of her dad's.
Oh,
oh
that
god,
sucks.
Yeah, I noted that right away.
I missed that. Good catch. Yeah, she cannot stand the grin, which it seems he has when he's in a high state of arousal.
In my head, it's the grin from the Aphex Twin cover. Just look it up.
She is calling on him to let her out. She has changed her mind, which, again, you're allowed to say no anytime.
And he's upset about that.
Yeah. She thinks...
Which is another thing I think that is a huge written in the 90s issue.
It's another thing I think is huge, happened in the 90s issue too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would really hope that people are more...
I think now.
Sexually enlightened to know that, like,
it hasn't
consent...
been a long time since it was against the law to rape your wife. So it's, I mean, the time period that this was set, I had to keep reminding myself that. I'm like, it is 2025. This was the early 90s.
You couldn't pull out your phone and Google, what is BDSM?
How to do it safely.
You had to go to the library and look it up.
Of a different town.
Of a different
because
town.
It's so taboo.
And have the librarian hit you with a writing crop. Right?
Just that one library. Thank you for recommending it, by the way. She is frustrated because she is trying to explain to him, I don't like this. I want out. And he is not hearing her. And she says it's frustrating that we should be able to read each other 100% by now. Why can't we? And then this voice that's not the voice she's used to hearing talk to herself says it's not that he can't read you, it's he's choosing not to. And that's when she can kind of see through it.
Yeah, that part was... we get a lot of moments like this with Jesse and the voices in Gerald, which kind of set us up to think is there some dark shit here that we're like, are these hints and clues? Because it is all from her perspective. Her opinions of him have been pretty uncharitable. So at first, you're kind of questioning, like, does she really think this? Should she just hate her husband? But the voices are really cool because should we just like list what there's like 5?
Yeah.
The good wife is one, and they all represent people from her past, and they all serve a purpose with regards to her trauma and
I do love
survival.
How there are people who, when we hear the voice earlier, are represented by someone else because she didn't know that person now. It's so cool. So good.
The good wife is like the Puritan voice, and she's, stern but pragmatic and always thinks she's right and is very confident about it. She's also kind of the voice of guilt and judgment. And then we have the Nora Callingham voice, and we'll talk about her. She was her therapist, and she has a gentle, encouraging, kind of supportive voice. Ruth Neary was a college roommate.
Hell yeah.
Ruth's badass.
Yep, she never shaved her armpits. That's what Jesse mentioned. She's the first person I ever encountered.
She is the person that I totally get. She is the one that I was like, I want to be friends with Ruth.
She's rebellious. She's very classic, like 90s feminism type person. And she's trying to push Jesse to face truths that she's
she's
would rather
a
not
good
think about
friend.
it.
Man, the way that story unfolds, so good.
Because
well written.
So we have 2 more.
Yes.
We have her mother, and she's really judgmental and silencing, and has more of that connection to repression and denial. And then the fractured self. So other parts of Jesse's personality that come through here and there that relate to problem solving,
the
and
UFOs,
fear, and she calls them the UFOs. So they're more about her coping strategies. But she's really questioning, like, oh, this person is ignoring me, and basically my husband is going to rape me. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do about it. And her voices are saying different things, like, just let him do it. What is it a big deal, really?
My favorite part about the voices is how clear the book makes it that Jesse knows these voices are her. Yeah. They are just due to the stress of the situation, they have become very distinct.
They seem like they're, because of the situation, they seem like they are more than just like our self-talk that we have. It's like they're given life because of her life and death situation she's about to be in.
Yeah, when they start, like, she mentions at one point one of the voices is laughing, and she says how strange it is to hear a part of yourself laughing so clearly. But it is still, she makes sure that she knows there's not really ever, there are supernatural question mark happenings later. Yeah. But it is never like, oh, these voices that come to help. She knows they may be very personified, but they are coming from her. I love that.
It is really cool. It's a great way to tell a story in one place from one person's, like, basically one character story.
For sure. So Gerald puts his thumbs in his waistband like a gunslinger and drops his drawers. So now there's only one piece of clothing on 2 people, which I had to keep reminding myself because obviously in the movie they allowed the actress to have a nightgown. Yeah. Because that would have been a much different movie. But it's like Rose Matter, like forgetting the vulnerability of the nudity. Yeah. Sometimes just adds that tension.
Eastern Promises.
It's so much harder to have a gunfight in the nude.
Eddie from
so as he whips his 5-incher out, Jesse is reflecting upon this penis, the escalation of how we got here. And it is this fantasy that is kind of taken a hold of Gerald, and she reflects on the fact that his growing up, it's clear that he was a fat, insecure kid with sex fantasies that made him feel like a big, powerful man. It's there. The note I made here, and I don't remember if it's a line in here or I just wrote, "The horrors we justify, I am able to, thus I have a right to."
Yeah, that's kind of what we're getting from him. And it freaked me out a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot bit, I should say. When she's telling him like drops all, just trying to be nice. She's like,
Yeah.
unlock these fucking handcuffs right now. I'm not doing this.
I will call a divorce attorney.
Yeah. And he gets more aroused.
It
reminded me of, we just talked about this on the last episode too. And is it The Good Marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit.
So after she drops the I will divorce you if we don't get this squared away, Gerald goes from hurt to angry and then very quickly to, no, this is part of the game.
This was so upsetting.
It's
so fast.
When he's hurt, it's like, okay, people can be hurt. And like, I get maybe, yeah, that makes him sad.
Sure.
But when then he's like, I was basically like, I love you, but sometimes I hate you because of your smart mouth. You can be so mean sometimes. Is what he's telling this woman who's like, let me go. And then he just turns and he's like, oh, you're good. Oh, you're such a good actor. This is great. And he's like even more aroused.
It sucks so much. And it is so stressful because this turns into her realizing what's happening and working through her head and coming to the realization that, oh no, he knows. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a high power lawyer. He knows that he'll do this and then he will tell everyone, well, he'll believe it so hard that he will pass a lie detector test.
Her and her voices take her through this whole procedure and exactly what it would be like in court and everything.
And it is so hard to read because there is so much, I mean, the way things work, unfortunately, but there is so much like misogyny from the outside world that she is just accepting as fact. Because she goes through the like, what am I going to say? Oh, no, just because I withdrew consent, then he shouldn't have had sex with me. And it's like, yes, yes, exactly.
Who's going to believe that I was naked and then as soon as the last handcuff went on, I changed my mind? No one's ever going to believe that's possible.
I had watched
it's disgusting.
recently
it's
Girls
gross.
Gone Wild documentary.
Oh.
That same era. And it was so like, even other women especially were very victim blamey about that, and this is just what we're seeing play out. And I haven't felt much hope lately, but it gives me a little bit of hope that even at a minimum that we can have this conversation like, wow, things were even worse in the 90s on this topic. Things have improved, though we can keep going.
In this resistance, Jesse realizes my hands are latched, but my feet, they're free as a bird, baby. She pulls them back and piston fires her feet into his gut and dick and balls.
When the good wife was like, oh my God, you kicked him in. Like she's
so
freaking out. I love that so
It is great, but it sucks because as this is happening, there's this bit where she is talking to herself and she's like, I can feel just like the time when I was a little kid and my brother goosed me at his birthday party and I punched him in the jaw and split his lip. That was something evil and dark inside of me. I'm a well of poison.
I forgot that is dropped right here. Holy shit.
It is so much, there's so much self-hatred in this woman. It is heartbreaking because she takes this violence against her and says, oh no, this is bad because it makes me evil, because I fight back against people who are essaying me. It's heartbreaking.
It's when this happened, I was immediately like, oh, that is repressed. She was in fight or flight, didn't even know it, chose fight. That happens
As
a lot.
she
with
should
people.
have.
We're not questioning that. That happens a lot with people who've experienced trauma. They have these, it's a trigger. They have these reactions, and then, she blames herself for it, not recognizing the reason why.
I missed this part Will's story getting dropped here. So later when we get the nightmare version where she hits him across the face with the croquet mallet, I thought that was what really happened at first. And then I picked up on a line later that gave me the, oh, never mind, we're dialing it back. So I got back to reality.
Jesse murdered her family.
Well, so this is
could have.
This is one of those things though that and we'll get to it, but the way that Jesse's able to talk herself into the reason that that things are her fault. If she had hit her brother in the face with a mallet, that's a something so extreme happening to him based off of this that I could see again she'd blame herself even more heavily because that rather than
I did think that was going to come when the nightmare version happened. I thought she was going to, because she like mentioned something, she hears a voice in her head that she thinks sounds like her brother from when he was young, when he did, and I thought we were going to learn that she like hit him so hard that he like spent the rest of his life in a coma or something.
Yeah,
that's why and that didn't happen. But I was prepared for this book to get darker.
Oh,
and then it did in a much worse way.
I like your idea better. When it's easier to read.
The next sensation that Jesse has is being in a dreamlike corridor. And it's,
did we say what happens after she kicks her husband in the stomach and balls?
He has a heart attack and reverse swan dives off the bed.
Drools on her and his
peas.
bowels let go.
Well, the drool the drool is the reason she kicks him.
Oh, that was the last straw.
Because a drop of drool lands on her thigh and it reminds her of something.
Yeah. Oh, we get so much about the smell of things, and I don't want to. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we got to that part though to tie all that together, so we didn't have to wonder.
It's semen, isn't it? And I was so upset that I kept thinking that.
Oh my goodness.
The way King writes it, I know, it's just like he gives you these really horrible clues that are so obvious, but you can miss them because you don't want to pick up on them.
Because you don't want to face it head on.
It puts you kind of in the position of Jesse. You are like actively, nope, I'm not going to think about that.
And when Gerald falls off the bed, she hears like an egg crack kind of sound
he
when
didn't
his
break
head
his
hits the
fall
floor.
at all.
He did.
And she blacks out and has this like sensation of being in a dreamlike corridor. And what brings her back is the sound of a dog barking.
I really love this. Nothing really happens this dream sequence other than her coming out of it. She's like, she realizes that maybe she's asleep, but that's fine because if she wakes up, something worse might be out there, which it gets truer and truer. But I love just the way it is written of her coming out of it. Is she hears this noise and she's walking down a corridor and realizes that she could see better if she opens her eyes. Yeah. And then she opens her eyes and she's in the room. And I love that. That's a really good.
As she kind of processes the scene, she begins to feel selfish about the pain in her arms and wrists when she realizes that Gerald might be severely hurt or dead on the floor. And a new voice shows up saying that he's dead and it's his own damn fault. And that's our buddy Ruth.
Based.
Eve, would you like to explain a little bit more about who Ruth is?
Ruth is the coolest motherfucker. The fact that Jesse would ever abandon this woman is terrible.
Well, she had to, otherwise she's going to remember.
Well, we'll get to that. And it makes sense because Ruth is this.
Actually, I do want to point out before we go on about what a badass she is. We do know that she's had 3 marriages, 2 suicide attempts, and 4 rehabs.
I don't fucking care.
I'm saying she's lived a crazy life since then.
Which makes sense why Jesse would bounce, because Jesse is a waspy piece of shit who has been trying to retreat into the fantasy of, she's not an upper middle class. She's not. That is a lot. I like Ruth so much. Ruth is this cool boho chick. She was Jesse's roommate in college for a while. They were really close. She talks about her like that, like the craziest friend anyone has.
Yeah.
The
like
one
legend.
person.
She is legend.
Yes, she's cool and funny and weird and outspoken. Always says her mind, and maybe she makes some stuff up, but not all of it.
That's right.
And she, as we learn, is just like a sincerely really good friend. And for whatever reason, we don't find out here, they just grew apart.
Yep.
And she doesn't think of her. And when she does think of her throughout this part, it's not in the most glowing terms. She's like, oh, yeah, she's probably a lesbian now. Whatever.
She just says, oh, got it. That's what I need. The Dear Abby from hell.
Yeah.
But Jesse starts to move again, and the pain is instant. Her muscles are cramping or completely numb, one or the other. She gets to a sitting position, and that's when she hears the door again banging against the door jamb because the wind has picked up.
We should mention, like, Lakeside implies that it's remote, but it is extra remote because, Josh, I think you said at the beginning, they're here in October. So it's not a typical time, and there's no one around.
All she has heard is the door, a dog barking, and a distant chainsaw.
Yeah. She thinks about Ruth. Ruth hears the dog again and thinks that it's somewhere nearby. And then another new voice, a young girl, says the dog has no master. The voice sounds small and afraid. Ruth tells her that Gerald's probably dead because she hasn't heard him breathe at all. So that's another clue.
I did text my dad about this.
Yeah.
My dad was an emergency room nurse for most of my life. And before that, a paramedic. So he's worked a lot of emergencies. And I texted him, Stephen King is really asserting that when people get knocked unconscious, they snore loudly. Is this true? And he responded, not necessarily, but I know if you get knocked unconscious and you're snoring, that's really bad and you have to be intubated, which is when they shove a tube down your throat so you can breathe.
That's wild.
So actually, if he was breathing, if he was snoring, also bad news.
Good to know. The young voice, at this point, Jesse's now had 3 voices in her head. And the young voice reminds her that it's voices just like she heard on the dark day. And then we move on from that for a little bit. Because Jesse doesn't want to think about it. And if Jesse doesn't want to think about it,
she doesn't.
We don't.
Relatable, unfortunately.
What did you think about her going back to Rat? We, Eve, you and I, we discussed, you brought up the point of need. I need to see if my car is damaged, but need is not the word because need implies you can do something. What did either of you feel about her need to see the body?
I feel like you would want to get eyes on to see what was happening. And although I did get distracted because she sees one of his hands and she knows which hand it is because he has a wedding ring. And I was like, but wouldn't you know because of where the thumb was?
Yes.
That's a good point.
This is where we find out that Gerald's hands are exactly the same.
Jesse's just...
That's really good.
Great.
Oh.
I just had this image of Jesse hands up and doing that thing when you're driving and someone tells you to take a left turn and you just like look at your hands.
Gerald never knows where to turn.
Yeah, she spends just a lot of energy and effort trying to get the right angle, and you're gonna see something bad no matter what.
And like obviously, I grappled with this because she's married to him, has been for 20 years, and she's concerned about him, and she's worried. And then later, the dog's going to arrive, and she's going to get defensive. And I had such a hard time being like, "Would you care that much?" I mean, if it was Devin, I would care a ton because Devin treats me well.
Yeah.
But it was just, I liked it because it made me feel like, well, Jesse, why are you concerned about him? You hate him. He's about to rape you. And you've hinted at really darker things, like as we continue to go through this. But also, you know, if that's somebody you've have this relationship with, you would have probably conflicted feelings.
I think the possibility of even accidentally killing a person, I would want to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Goodwife calls her a murderer straight out. What did either of you think about that? Do you agree?
No.
No.
She wasn't trying to murder him when she
No,
kicked
entirely
him.
self-defense.
Absolutely. This is when Jesse reflects on the time that she saw a counselor, Nora, another voice that we will get coming back up, who advised her to count to 10 to reset your emotional dials.
Her feelings about Nora are what started to make me really understand Jesse as a character.
Yeah.
Because she talks about how she saw this therapist and really she liked her. She liked her a lot, although she wasn't sure if she knew that she liked her at the time, because she was like, oh, therapy's useless. Therapy, what is the thing that she says? She's like, therapy is useless because eventually you're just talking about, you're just locked in and talking about the same problems. And it's like, well,
it's completely opposite.
No,
Yeah. Reflects that mentality.
It is, as we come to learn, it's like she got to a point where the therapist is like, okay, now we need to talk about the other stuff.
Yeah.
The reason, like, oh, we've talked about all of your problems. And then there's this thing that every time we get close to it, you go, no.
Yeah, the root of your problems.
Yeah, you got to talk about that for it to be useful. And she just went, no, I don't like this. This isn't for me. Therapy isn't for me. And I was like, oh, I totally get who this person is. Like, yeah. I've been there. Not for this reason, but like when you have something about yourself that you are really, really wanting to deny, therapy seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The harshness of this 10 count, because Ruth chastises her of turning this 10 count into a self-hate mantra.
I get that. That's something I would do.
I was gonna ask because I feel like it's something we all fall into. Negative self-talk is so easy, and for Jesse, it felt so natural. It felt
she caught herself doing it.
That's what I mean. Like, it almost felt like it was appropriate for her. She deemed that appropriate and then caught herself.
I do like, though, that she stops and resets and she's like, okay, no, the
Which
situation
is
is bad enough. I don't need to pile on.
So real.
Yeah.
She realizes that she's thirsty and needs to pee.
Oh, you don't want to. It's so early in the book.
I know.
That was the first one that I was like, oh no, we're like 20 pages
You're
in.
going to have to really scoot. I was thinking about it from a logistical standpoint.
How can you like angle
where on
off?
the mattress would I pee?
Yeah.
You know, try to
By pee, it's like when you
launch your body up to get it to
I mean, it's
different.
It sure is. This is another example, though, of how fast Jesse will move when anything gets close, because she thinks of the irony of dying of thirst next to a lake. Dark score lake. Let's not think about anything ever again. And then she retreats from that jump.
She has a house on a lake is wild. That shows you how far she's buried this.
And she realizes that, thankfully, Gerald likes to keep a glass of water on the headboard above them, so there's water nearby.
When she has her first, like, let's test the limits of these cuffs, and it pulls the way she describes how hard she tries and like kind of hurts herself. Kind of gives you the impression like, oh, she really made an effort. And then I immediately had the oh no thought, because it's not enough.
Yeah.
And she's gonna have to make it be enough.
Yeah, she cannot reach the water. She cannot budge the headboard.
Because aren't they double cuffed? So she's got like clearance, but not enough.
Yeah. The chain has some give, but not much.
And the fear takes her, and she starts crying and panicking a bit. And
fair.
Then she hears the dog bark, and it's closer.
It's like right outside.
I bet it has an owner that she can yell to for help.
When she can see the shadow of the dog, so she can tell it's on the back porch, that's straight up horrifying. She screams for help, but the sound of her own voice sounding so scared sends her into hysterics.
Reading or listening?
Reading.
listening. The audiobook is very effective.
Her performance
in her screaming.
is so good.
I had to turn the volume down and just pause it after that because it's like, I need a minute because she just escalated me. Like,
her
it was
performance
really great.
is really fantastic.
Yes, you should listen.
I will say, super annoying that for whatever reason the audiobook completely ignores the chapters. Why is that?
But it has musical transitions.
Yeah,
Just like Dolores
at
Claiborne.
complete random.
Those are the chapters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I figured that out, yeah.
Makes sense. She decides she's gonna try sleeping. Maybe she'll get an idea. At least she'll escape the
be
room.
Unconscious and be like, let's peace out on this.
Oh yeah, no, I do this for just having a bad day.
Yeah, it's like, I won't think about this if I'm asleep.
Yeah, that's called depression.
What?
She's just about to sleep, hearing the lulling sound of the bang, 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 bang of the door until it just goes bang. And then she
the
hears
sudden silence wakes her up.
Holy, it's so scary. And then she's straining to listen for any sound. And then she hears the sound of overgrown toenails on the linoleum floor.
This poor dog.
Prince is a good character.
He is a good boy.
I love that we get a chapter
I do not
from his
fault
perspective.
him for anything. Yes.
I love a dog chapter.
Yes.
I love
Big
a
Steve
change of
Award
perspective.
nomination.
That's a wild nomination.
Wow.
He
but
ate a rapist.
That's true.
you know what?
That's a good point.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
No, we get a chapter from this dog's perspective, and it is sad because he was owned by a family. He had a little girl, and the dad is a piece of shit because when they move across state, he's just like, nah, I'd have to pay $70 to get a license for this dog. So instead, I'm going to leave him in the woods, and he'll love that because he's a dog, and dogs live in the woods.
Another
God.
And what does he do for a living? Lawyer. It is
Good
our second
point,
lawyer
Josh.
who we get to watch in real time talk himself into why this
Doing
is a
an
great
evil
idea.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. When it describes like getting lost, that he honestly gets lost in the majesty of what a great world that you're about to go off to.
Jesus Christ, what a fucking scathing indictment of men this book is.
No joke.
It is fucking damning. Anyway,
Yeah.
Prince has been living in the woods for weeks.
Starving at this point.
And what breed of dog do they say he is? Because in my head, Prince was enormous.
It's a purebred, I think, right?
He thinks it's a mutt, but the chapter from Prince's perspective says something like he's pretty far from
like a
it. He's like a
lab
half. I think he's like a border collie lab.
Yeah.
Okay. For whatever reason, when he first shows up, in my head, he was the biggest dog in the world. And then you find out that no, he's just like a Labrador. He's not even that big. But the fact that he is now in this house with the one person alive being completely helpless is very, very scary.
I am an idiot who is like, oh, you'd call gently to that dog so it jumped up on the bed and kept you warm at night because this is October and your door's open.
Yeah.
I mean, she
that
doesn't do
might
that,
work,
but
but he is going to eat your husband.
Yeah.
So
well, it depends on how I feel about my husband, whether that's a problem, I guess.
It is appropriate that they each find the only other life form is as desperate as they are in very different ways.
And reading it from the dog's perspective about the what does he call her?
the
bitch master.
Bitch master.
I love that. Can you guys call me bitch master? Is that too weird?
No.
Okay.
We've called you
we
so
call
many
you that
things.
behind your back all the time.
grow up, bitch master. Grow up.
That's so much less offensive to me than grow up CM. I don't feel bad about that at all.
I don't like the idea of our listeners typing that in the chat, though.
Do it.
No,
Do
that's merch. That's our
funny.
next
That's
shirt.
Grow up.
Pretty good
Grow
stuff.
up, bitch
It's just my
master.
face. I don't know now. I don't know. If you guys say you buy it, we'll make it.
Holy smokes. Anything for $1. The dog starts to lap up the blood on the floor, just testing the slow testing.
Well, he's thirsty.
This fucking scene is so horrific to me. It is so vivid because she can't see anything.
Yeah.
It is just the sounds and her imagination of what is happening as it's right there. It is right next to her. And the thought of like sitting and listening to a human being be eaten by a wild animal is so scary.
Assessment back and forth.
And we're 50 pages in. The book has not been happening very long. And a guy's getting eaten by a dog.
For what feels like a couple of hours.
It's wild how bad things got so fast.
Well, when blood is spilled.
Oh.
Right? So Prince starts dragging Gerald. Jesse screams and realizes that she needs to defend Gerald. So she reaches there's a floating headboard shelf above them that is held on by 2 L brackets. And there's some stuff hanging up there. And she manages to, just by chance, be able to reach his ashtray. And she grabs it and she throws it across the room and she hits it. And it makes Prince back up, but that dog's still starving.
It keeps talking about how he hears the changes in her voice, like she's strong, she's weak, things like that, and then it decides what to do. It's so cool. I love
really
how
is.
congratulatory she is to herself for, because she's launching from limited mobility and she spot on. It did make me feel bad for Prince, though. I couldn't help it. It's just like, don't hurt him. It's not his fault.
That's exactly it. Why I like Prince as a character so much is like he's doing this horrific thing from Jesse's perspective, but the book is really non-judgmental.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to, but he's a starving dog and he is doing what his instincts
and what other people have done in situations of starvation and desperation to each other.
Exactly. He's a very tragic character.
Absolutely.
And I don't like that he got hit by an ashtray.
Me either.
The escalation goes to Prince ripping off a chunk of bicep.
Oh yeah, that happens.
It's gory. This book is gory.
Yeah, it's pretty gory. And Jesse almost throws up, and the Ruth voice says, "Don't do it. The throw up might cause the dog to jump up, and
it'll dehydrate you."
Yeah. And Ruth says that it's trying to keep her awake, keep her involved. And she says that Jesse's problem is she runs away from things, just like she ran away from their friendship, from her counselor. And then there's this brief image of a 12-year-old girl in stocks. And then that image is gone real fast.
I think the dog doing this, the dog entering the story, is the catalyst for her having to face this vulnerability. So she's going to have to follow these memories because she can't do anything about anything that's happening, and that could be her next.
Later on, I just kind of want to drop it right now because it's something that I felt colored this first half really well, and it was when the voices are talking about why they are speaking up so much, and why she needs to be addressing this thing, because she keeps thinking that it's the past. How's this going to help me? And the voice saying, "One of you wants to die here."
Okay, so I didn't know when to bring this up because the situation is obviously not the same. But I think this is a good point. I want to talk about why I relate to Jesse so much.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the same situation, but the depiction of someone who has repressed something so hard, I relate to immensely. Mine was all gender related, but before I came out, I dealt with depression really bad, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse until a few years ago, I was at the end of my rope. I was so tired of existing. And it wasn't until I reached that place that I personally was able to look inside myself. And finally, it took so much therapy to breach this point that she is at, the point of you're gonna have to look at the stuff you don't want to look at.
Yeah.
You are going to have the thoughts that you don't want to have to move forward. And I feel that her being in this place where she is saying, I might as well die. Once you reach that point, why not? Like, what? That's the point where you go, well, I guess I could die or I can work on myself. Right? So I, like, all of her rationale and reasoning and all of this felt so real and, like, really connected me to this character in a very odd way.
She's very relatable. It's King has captured trauma and the psychology of that and the horror of it very effectively.
The line I
it
wrote
is a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
is the Ruth voice saying, is that the prize for living your whole life in handcuffs ever since? And then there's that break.
Yeah.
And then the reveal of it, one of you doesn't want to get out. One of you wants to be done. And we are not going to let that happen. And so you have to address it. And we've gotten these hints of why the relationship fell apart from Jesse's perspective of Ruth asked too many questions. She wouldn't let things go. And then here is where we are going to be talking about the Women's Consciousness Group. Would either of you like to talk about the memory of her first and only women's group?
Sure. This was a therapy group, basically. And Jesse's recollection of it is also kind of unforgiving because she is on the defense.
Yes.
She didn't want to be there then, and she doesn't want to be here now. And so it's an uncharitable view of women supporting each other in therapy. And this one woman shares this story, and she has injuries that she shows. And it did bother me when it was like, oh, why didn't you, report this? Like, kind of putting her on the spot. And it's like, well, who's going to care? Like,
yeah,
it's hard. You want people, like, I get when people say that, like, well, why didn't you ever do anything about it? Or why didn't you go to the police? It's very complicated reasons why
and
people
she shares her whys.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're written, I was unclear on what was coming from her and what was coming from Jesse, because she says, this girl says them, but then later on when we get the scene between her and Ruth, she's repeating all of these same things.
She says things like a moment before.
I couldn't say anything because it would have ruined my family. It would have killed my mother. It would have all of these things that victims tell themselves all the time, that
it was my fault.
That abusers use to keep victims silent.
And they focus on people who are vulnerable, who are more likely to have a reaction like that, so they don't get caught. Oh, so Jesse panics in this moment and runs out of the room, and Ruth chases her. And this made me really sad because they're having this moment, they're talking, and Jesse is about to give in.
This is the scene that made me love Ruth.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Ruth is such a good friend that she followed her out and knew that there was something big, and was like, even if this is the Ruth in Jesse's head, I would like to think that she wishes she could have. Like,
I think it is because she sends her, like,
wishes that
still sends her a Christmas present,
she stays in
and
touch.
so I think she knows why Jesse pulled away from the friendship. I think Ruth's smart.
I think
Yeah.
because Jesse's head Ruth kind of throws these at Jesse and says, like, oh no, you were running away. You you didn't want to, do the work that it would take to be the cool, freewheeling, awesome lady that I am. So instead you married a conservative.
Well, unfortunately, this moment of sharing gets interrupted by someone else coming out like, hey, you guys okay? That's the part that frustrated me. It's like, oh, dang it.
Yeah. We're getting too far into this, so Jesse needs to dial it back, focus on other things. So instead we take a little side trip to get some water. A very tense scene about lifting a board to get some water.
And making a straw out of...
That's real impressive.
Thing from Gerald's magazine. I was imagining a True Detective magazine too at this point.
It's the moment of satisfaction when she goes to take a drink and realizes she can't make that distance from cup to glass.
This is so
It's
well
just
written,
neat.
but
Yeah,
it
it's
takes
good.
such a long
It
time
takes
in
so
the book.
long.
And
I
it's
love
so intense.
because it's her overcoming, because she's like starting to go and she has to tip it so it slides to her, and she starts, and the whole time she's like beating herself up, expecting herself, being like waiting for the failure.
Yeah.
And there's this battle of her like yelling at herself and saying, stop it, you've got this, you need to use all of your mental facilities to focus or you're going to fail, you can do this. And then she gets it in her hand and you're like, yes, you're cheering for her. And then she goes to take a drink and she's like, I am a fucking idiot. I can't believe it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And she has to put it back, and just the tenseness of her muscles, all of it.
But then, the genius idea of inventing a straw out of this thing. It's so very...
she does
it's
like
nice to get
drink a
win.
lot of water when she finally gets it, though.
And fighting against her immediate knee-jerk reaction to throw the cup across the room. It's great.
The last thing I want to talk about the water, though, is I love the moment when she sees that the ice is almost melted, and the idea that time didn't pause before the dog showed up actually comes to home to rest. I thought that was a great
so many moments
of
of oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Because then Ruth responds, no, you're really good at making things unhappen. So of course. We find out that Jesse used to be an English teacher. So she had a career, she had a life, and it's Gerald who made her life smaller and smaller until she was just something of his.
He isolated her.
Yeah. Jesse sleeps a little, and the dog comes back for some more Gerald jerky. And we have the dream sequence of Will's 9th birthday, the birthday where he's as many years as baseball.
This is a really funny way to put it.
It's a perfect day. Jesse had helped talk Dad into bringing the whole family back to the house for the birthday so they could have all their friends there. It is a, dare she say, picture perfect day. And then a Marvin Gaye song comes on. We go from memory to nightmare. Let's talk about the actual events of that party, and then we can talk about the King Nightmare twists to it. It is at this party, they're playing croquet, she's focused. Will and his friends think it's a good idea to go and pinch her butt. Goose her. She has a trauma response to this song, and it brings everything to her. So it's timing. She turns, she punches him, ruins the party. She ruins the party, feels responsible for ruining his birthday.
Goosing is also more invasive than pinching.
That's true, yeah.
And it's weird that people ever thought that's fun to do to everyone.
Yeah. So that is the base event. Would either of you like to talk about your favorite insane thing that King does in this dream sequence version of it? I talked about using the mallet instead of her fist. Fucked me up.
So many little hints had been dropped, and I was like, oh, this book is eventually going to go somewhere unspeakably horrific. But this is like the first clear, like it's not subtext really anymore.
Yeah.
Is that in this dream she's bent over and she knows she's about to get goosed, and she turns around, and when she does, in her dream, she expects to see her father's face. That sucks. It turns out it's not. It ends up being Gerald's face.
Which, okay. That's the subtext there.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Everything about it is just icky. It's just really icky.
She pulls out of the nightmare, and I love that this is kind of described as when she learned how to dive, coming from like one world to another. And there's this moment before she wakes up all the way that she thinks, maybe I should go back to the nightmare. And because maybe the nightmare is a better place to be. And she can't fathom how that's possible until she wakes up and is like, oh yeah, here I am. Because something's changed. It's night now. The sound of the dog is what woke her up because the dog's not in the house anymore. She can hear it barking from the woods.
Dude, we got a brief thing from the dog's perspective where he was like, oh, something's wrong. I'm going to leave.
I got to go.
That makes this real in a way that, because it's what we're about to talk about is something that could be a hallucination because of her extreme stress.
This is one of the scariest things King has ever written.
Yes.
This is so horrific. I can't believe how sincerely scary this is.
I think about this at night every once in a while.
She opens her eyes and just thinks, there's a man in the room, just standing in the corner, silently in the shadows.
Reminds me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the
silence
episode. Yeah.
It's so goddamn scary because she cannot make out any of his features other than they're wrong. His face is long and unusual. His arms go down to his knees. He has some shape at his feet that she cannot make out. But when she looks at it, she thinks it's a chainsaw.
I love that.
No.
Oh, yeah,
no,
she
do not
like.
I love because of hearing the chainsaw.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh, I know. I don't like it. It's scary. I can't think of something scarier than being immobile. I guess this is just
what sleep paralysis
I was just about to say.
Like, Josh.
Really?
Yes, we talked about that.
This is sleep paralysis.
This is what it's like, except,
Wow.
You're not cuffed to a bed. You just can't move, and there is something there with you. You can't do anything about it.
Can't think of anything scarier.
It's horrifying.
She is trying. This whole sequence is so long of her just going over in her head, trying to convince herself, is this guy really here or not? And she cannot tell, and eventually gives up. And also her mind slips. This is the point where it says she is starting to lose touch with reality. And we get one of the most upsetting things ever, her coming to the realization that, wait, is this my dad?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Holy shit. I hate that.
That is extremely fucked up. When the fact that seems rational.
It's gross. I won't go into because she has a response once she thinks that maybe it is her dad.
We will talk about it.
Because the threat of her, and she goes through this like mental gymnastics of
wondering what this thing is, because we work in the King verse. So there are beings that are not human.
Everything's
that are
possible.
Like, there are these different things. And so it's the question of whether there is a physical body there or not. I went into like, I'm going to be interested to see how it's written to be confusing. And then there's the dog running away. All right, that's, spooky presence, whatever. And truly the horror comes from how long this person is still, is entirely motionless, to the point that when the dog barks from a distance, she's like, the head moved. Did it move? I'm not even sure. Every time there's these moments, she's never even sure if she saw the body actually move. So there's no definitive one way or another that can give her that answer here.
Someone just standing is so terrifying. Never just stand at me, please.
Yes. And she yells at it to let her go, and she gets to the point where she offers herself in exchange, says, go ahead and do it. Just don't kill me. Just let me go after you can do what you want. And it is after she says, are you my dad? And then she opens her legs. She gets no response. And that is also so fucking horrifying. That desperate plea is met with no change, no action. And then so that's when she calls out that it's moonlight. It has to be imagination.
Oh, this is maybe my favorite part of the whole book. Yeah. There's a short bit where she says, who knows? Who knows how many people die alone?
Yeah.
How many people are trapped or stuck alone? And who knows what those people see in their final lonely moments. So is this thing here? Is it human? Doesn't matter. She is in danger. And that is, this is a personification of the mortal threat to her life. And she does the only thing that she can. She goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
Which is so fucked. It's so fucked.
I want to ask you what you thought of the contents, because you described she thought it could be a chainsaw, but no, it's a big, like an old sample bag, like a doctor's bag. And the being, when it finally does decide to move, it leans into the light and shows her this bag. Eve, what's in the bag?
I don't even remember.
Oh, it has to be trophies.
I just thought of it as a list of random ominous shit.
Oh, it is.
It's jewelry and bones.
I think
Christ.
it's trophies of, if this is an intruder, it's his victim's jewelry and bones.
Christ.
Yeah.
And
so goddamn scary.
Right?
Well, and that's the thing is it's just the way it's described. I envision this being is digging through, just showing off things in the collection, and she convulses and passes out. Yeah, it's checking out. And then when she comes back, the moon is in a completely different place and the corner is empty.
Thank goodness.
Must have been a dream.
Good God.
You would be really doing everything you could to get out of those cuffs at this point.
I don't know how much she really tried just yanking her thumb.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well,
because
that's what I was saying earlier. You know that she feels like she tried as hard as she could and actually did cause herself pain, which kind of makes it feel like, oh yeah,
but
she
you
did
gotta
really
break
try,
that thumb bone,
and she knows
to
that.
get
But
out.
that was another thought she pushed away, I think. Yeah.
At this point, she wants to be done, and Ruth argues with her that there was never anything here. Goody, on the other hand, knows it was Daddy. He had his eclipse face.
That's so spooky.
And that is what leads us. Yeah, all the clues have been given to us. If you've missed every single one, that one's gonna be, that's right there. And then Jesse escapes into sleep, and we dream / rediscover that the events. And before I'm gonna have you take us through this, but we talked a lot about how Jesse carries so much of this blame. And so I think the phrasing is so important that when the time has finally come for us and for Jesse to dive into what happened, the very first thing we find out is Jesse had been alone with her father during the eclipse by her design, immediately blaming herself from the jump. And I was so fucking sad immediately. CM, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Yeah, and I'll briefly summarize this, but to your point, Josh, that is a very typical reaction. You will find a way to make it your fault because you don't know any better, because you're a kid. And she was 10.
Just about to be 11.
Christ.
Yeah. So we're not going to talk through this chapter the way we have been, because the entire chapter is
hard. It's a hard read.
It's a very long and detailed description of this day, which is basically the day that her father assaulted her. And it was during the eclipse. This is where we get the tie-in with Dolores Claiborne, which is actually really cool. So you have to read this chapter because several, important things happen in it. But I think it's important to note that as Jesse is to this point where she is reliving this experience, she is dehydrated. She's had all the water she can have, and the paper straw eventually got soggy, and she's exhausted, and just psychologically she just saw some shit.
In massive
Gerald has
pain.
been eaten.
She's been having
the tension
these
between
huge
her
cramps,
shoulders and back and stuff. Yeah. So that's where she's at physically and psychologically. And so basically what we come to understand through this chapter is the context of why every thought Jesse has, every reaction to herself, every assessment she makes of others, without knowing what she experienced, can be taken in different ways that really miss what's actually happening here. And so it's an effective chapter because it explains why Jesse is having all of these reactions.
Very effective.
And it's just it did make me have a moment. We've heard from several people that we've talked about, like, this is what we do, who don't always like King books because he does not hold back from any type of horror. He even says there's books that he's written where he's put it in a drawer and he's like, I can never publish that. I don't know why this isn't one of them. It feels like that, but I usually don't have that reaction. And this was the first time as I was listening to this, so I just had to listen at the pace that the amazing actress performed it at. And I was like, I don't know if I need to sit through this. This is really difficult. And if it's giving anything to me as part of the story. So I finally kind of got that, which I never really connected with before. So I understand that sentiment now, which is interesting. But I like this book and I'm glad I made it through that part. So yeah, this is a chapter if you want to skip it. The Dolores Claiborne tie-in is awesome, and we've seen that perspective from her story too. Check out those episodes 104 through 106.
Nailed it.
And it's just the spooky atmosphere of the eclipse happening is a really cool setting.
The one thing I will say about this chapter is it turns her parents into fucking monsters. Jesus Christ.
Her mom knows. I think.
Somewhere her mom might have.
Okay.
I thought there was a point where when the scene when her mom and dad are arguing in the bedroom and she's eavesdropping, that I was like, the mom's trying to keep her from going because she knows this could happen.
Oh, she's trying to keep her from not going.
Yeah.
To the event.
That's what I
meant. By the language she uses, even if mom doesn't know she knows, she doesn't know why she's defensive. Yes. Yeah. Like it's very clear in the choices. And it's so upsetting. And it's something that my wife and I have talked a lot about of your kids hear everything you say.
Yeah. Especially when you think they're not. And when you want them to listen, they're not listening.
But that it's just you do have to be mindful. Like you're responsible for what you say. And in this argument, the thing that she yells, you treat her like a girlfriend more than a child,
more than your daughter,
and that phrase becomes something that she repeats to herself over and over, that she tortures herself with.
She blames herself completely. First she says, oh, this is what you get, Mom.
And then
she says, this is what we both get.
Yeah. So it's after that moment, she says that horrible thing and then decides it's appropriate to, in that angry and afraid tone, says, you're welcome to her, about spending the day with. And there was something about those word choices that gave me this feeling in the back of my head that if she'd told her mom, there would have been any question, like about believing.
Yeah.
Like it's all there. And I think that's such strong writing.
Unfortunately, that is where we happen to end this episode. So to bring things up a little bit, I do have a safe word, and my fault for not telling you guys at the beginning. It's
an important one.
It's more of a safe phrase, and it's I love you guys, and we're all safe.
Aww. Thank you.
And that is it for this episode of Derry Public Radio. As always, please keep listening. Eve. As always, thank you for listening. Join us for our next episode where we will be finishing the book. For Joshua Kahn and Eve Gatto, I'm CM Alexander reminding you there's a big difference between living with something and being kept prisoner by it. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to Gerald's Game Part 1. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, please let us know your thoughts on our social media. Search Derry Public Radio on your preferred platform. You can send us an email at derrypublicradio@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. And you can chat with us on Discord. The link for that is in the show notes. And don't forget to check out our Etsy store for merchandise. That's etsy.com/derrypublicradio, and our Patreon page for bonus episodes, live streams, and lots of other perks. That is patreon.com/derrypublicradio. If you enjoyed this episode, we ask that you please rate and review us on whatever app you are listening on. It really helps us out, and we appreciate it so much. That's all for now, listeners. Goodbye.